What do you think of the bill that the House passed that you voted against?
Well, I tell you, Rosser, I voted against it not because I'm against the economy. We had $650 million surplus when we started this session, and the time for budget cutting was then, and we should have. But this attempt today was nothing more than an effort to embarrass the Senate. The Appropriations Committee openly talked about that. The House had killed a Senate tax bill earlier in the week. The Senate was going to wait until we passed a tax bill before they acted. Instead, the House administration decided to make a grandstand play to cut all appropriations across the board, 21%, and then force the Senate to kill that and take the blame for not being for economy. They admitted on the floor that we didn't know what was the effect that we would have on our programs, on our salaries, on our budget, and asked us without even looking at it in printed form to vote for it. I am not here to play games. I'm not here to try to make the Senate look bad or anyone else. I'm here to get our business done. And playing games with the Senate or trying to embarrass anyone, I think is in poor form. And I simply voted against it and would do so again. I have no regrets for it.
This is actually just one more step in what's been almost a comedy of errors, hasn't it, this whole session?
It has. We have not had a fair or equitable bill yet.
Well, the fact they did this in such a short period of time, I think, was perhaps a political maneuver. I think it is a waste of time. I think that the House and the Senate and the governor of this state should be working together to try to resolve the problem, to try to write a balanced tax program without food under the sales tax, without some of these other ridiculous tax proposals, where that we could meet Texas' financial responsibility without an additional special session. And I'm very disappointed that this special session has not had a greater serious attitude displayed by the leadership of not only the House, but the executive branch of our government.
Now do you think that it is impossible to finish anything by midnight tonight?
No, I think the fact that we're spending the last 12 hours of this session working on an appropriation bill that has absolutely no chance of passing has placed us in a position where Governor Smith will have no alternative but to call another special session and attempt to pass his tax bill of over $350 million that he wants passed in 1969.
New students at SMU were told today at an assembly here at McFarland Auditorium that uncivilized behavior is not an open option at SMU. SMU President Dr. Willis Tate, speaking to new students and their parents, said SMU, unlike some other universities, will not permit students to live in an uncivilized manner. Dr. Tate also mentioned the problem of individualism on a large campus.
There is a room for growth and development in all phases of an individual's life, and this is our idea, to try to provide an environment that's conducive to growth. And we have the kind of university which we hope will have a healthy balance between firmness and a consideration for each individual student, because it's our ideal to treat every one of these students individually, to encourage individualism, to encourage creativity, to encourage everyone to make up their own mind, to determine their own life values, to be the master of their own destiny, and not be a badge or a card in somebody's IBM file. And we recognize that when we live together, we must have a structure, we must have some agreements, that we live together in certain ways, certain rules, certain regulations. But we also see if we can't possibly individualize every opportunity we can.
Dr. Tate assured the parents that their sons and daughters will be treated like adults and that the university expects them to conduct themselves accordingly. Cochise Cash, Channel 8 News.
What is your specific reason for talking with the Congressman about the Arlington Post Office Department?
I'm representing a corporation in Arlington that is very concerned about lack of service through the Arlington Post Office. I'm representing the corporation and several individuals.
Did the Congressman give you some indication that he might take action on your behalf?
Yes, he did.
What specifically would he do if he does what you want done?
Speaking as an individual and as a representative of the corporation, we would like to see Raymond Dews removed as postmaster.
Why particularly?
It seems that the majority of the problems are originating from the administration and the lack of communication.
Do you feel that the scheduling problem there is why your corporation doesn't get its mail on time?
Not entirely. It has a great deal to do with it. The internal changes are the primary reason that the mail is not getting worked.